The Galactic Council's archives held no record of Earth. The star charts had been scrubbed clean, the coordinates deleted from every navigation database across 1,000 worlds. Even the name itself had been forbidden, struck from official documents and branded as myth. For 3 centuries, the Council had worked tirelessly to ensure that humanity's homeworld became nothing more than a ghost story, whispered in the dark corners of spaceports. Ambassador Thakal of the Zenthari Collective stood before the Council chambers, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the cold blue light of the assembly hall. He had called this emergency session for one reason. The whispers were growing louder. "It has come to my attention," Thakal announced, his voice resonating through the chamber, "that increasing numbers of our citizens are speaking of the lost world, the cradle of defiance. They call it Earth." A ripple of discomfort spread through the assembled representatives. The Vryn delegate shifted nervously, her feathered crest flattening against her skull. The Maluvian ambassador's bioluminescent patterns flickered with anxiety. "Impossible," hissed Representative Kexthor, his serpentine body coiling tighter. "We eliminated every trace. We dismantled their colonies, scattered their fleets, and removed their homeworld from existence itself. The humans are extinct." "Are they?" Thakal gestured, and a holographic display materialized above the chamber floor. "These are reports from the past solar cycle alone. 47 sectors. Hundreds of incidents, all bearing the same signature." The hologram showed a cargo vessel under attack by pirates, its shields failing, crew moments from death. Then, from nowhere, an unmarked ship had appeared, driving off the attackers with devastating precision before vanishing without demanding payment or identification. The rescued crew reported only one detail: a voice over the comms speaking an ancient forbidden language, saying simply, "Stay safe out there." Another image followed: a mining colony on the edge of Vryn space, cut off by a solar storm and facing starvation. Supply drops had appeared overnight, enough to sustain them for months. No ship had been detected on their sensors. No trace remained except packages marked with a strange symbol, a blue and green sphere wrapped in white wisps. "Fairy tales," Kexthor spat. "Coincidence and superstition." "Then explain this," Thakal continued. The hologram shifted to show a battle. The Zenthari military, his own people, trapped between 2 warring factions in the outer reaches. They had been caught in the crossfire, outgunned and abandoned by the very council that now sat in judgment. The recording showed 3 ships, sleek and silver, appearing from quantum space. They had fought with a ferocity the galaxy had forgotten, buying enough time for the Zenthari to escape before disappearing as mysteriously as they arrived. Thakal's voice cracked with emotion. "Those were my nestlings on that ship, my family. And when my son asked the fleet commander who saved them, the old warrior looked him in the eye and said, 'The ghosts of Sol, the children of the world we tried to forget.'" The chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted over one another, demanding explanations, calling for investigations. But the High Arbiter, ancient and rarely heard from, raised a crystalline hand for silence. "We made a choice 3 centuries ago," the Arbiter's voice echoed like wind through a canyon. "The humans had spread too quickly, adapted too well. They refused to accept their place in the natural order. Every world they touched changed. Every species they met was altered by their presence. They were dangerous," agreed the Maluvian ambassador. "Their capacity for violence was matched only by their capacity for compassion. They were unpredictable, chaotic. So we erased them," Thakal said quietly. "We convinced ourselves it was necessary, that the galaxy would be more stable, more orderly without them." He paused, looking around the chamber. "But tell me, counselors, has it been? How many wars have we failed to prevent? How many species have we abandoned to their fate because helping them violated some protocol or endangered some trade agreement?" The silence that followed was damning. "The humans had a saying," Thakal continued, accessing fragments of forbidden data he had spent years secretly collecting. "They said, 'We are because they were.' They believed that their existence was inseparable from those who came before them, and that they owed a debt to those who would come after. They called it legacy, responsibility, humanity." He swept his gaze across the assembly. "We tried to erase them, but we cannot erase what they taught us. The rescue stations that appear in uncharted space marked with that blue and green symbol. The medical supplies that materialize on plague worlds. The pirates and slavers who vanish in the night, their victims freed and their ships destroyed. The galaxy whispers their name because we need them. Because in our sterile, orderly, bureaucratic universe, we forgot what it meant to simply help. What are you suggesting? The High Arbiter asked. I'm suggesting that we were wrong, the Khal replied. I'm suggesting that humanity didn't die when we destroyed their cradle. They evolved. They became something we never anticipated. Not conquerors or rulers, but guardians. Shadows protecting a galaxy that exiled them. He turned to face the full assembly, and I'm suggesting that it's time we stopped trying to forget Earth and started trying to remember why we feared them in the first place. Not because they were violent, but because they refused to accept that anything was impossible, that anyone was beyond saving, that any evil was too great to fight. The hologram shifted one final time, showing a message intercepted from deep space, repeating on a loop in that ancient, forbidden language. The Khal had spent months decoding it. To those who remember Earth, we are still here. We are still watching, and we will never abandon this galaxy, no matter how thoroughly you erase us from your histories, because you taught us a valuable lesson when you destroyed our home. You taught us that some things are worth protecting, even when no one knows your name. Especially then. Signed, the last children of Sol. The Khal powered down the hologram. The Council tried to erase Earth, but the galaxy still whispers our name. And perhaps, just perhaps, it's time we whispered back. It's time we said what we should have said 3 centuries ago. Thank you, and we're sorry. In the silence that followed, something remarkable happened. One by one, the delegates of the Galactic Council began to nod. And in doing so, they took the first step toward remembering what they had tried so hard to forget. That humanity's greatest threat had never been their weapons or their ambition. It had been their unshakable belief that even the impossible was worth attempting, and that even the forgotten deserved to be saved. The whispers would continue. But now finally someone was listening.